merchandise on behalf of businesses, individuals and events. Today I'll be presenting the brand that we've developed, the success and the challenges that we've had in making this and getting it out into the world and working with our collaborative team. So as I said, I'm Lynette and I'm a Year 2 major in visual arts with a Year 1 elective in graphic design. And this is Leah.
My name's Leah Jackson and I major in graphic design. I did a Year 1 elective in visual arts and I'm owner of a homeware company.
Hi, I'm Cheyenne. I'm a visual arts major and I took graphic design last year as an elective. I used to co-own a cafe in Mount Maunganui and I redesigned it. Lyndon, our other team member, can't be here today as he's in Wanaka doing Olympic skier stuff.
So here's an overview of some of the products and the projects that we've been involved in this year. Our biggest one being the Tauranga Zine Fest and at the Tauranga Art Gallery and the workshops that went with that. The products that we went on to develop with promoting Lyndon's book that he developed. It was a children's book called The Dragon and Wardrobe, so we developed for him to merchandise his product, and also we've just finished producing a range of tea towels for the Tauranga Bay of Plenty Garden and Art Festival. So the initial idea for the behind the merchants was to basically collaborate with the Tauranga Zine Fest. The gap in the market was that they needed something to present in a workshop, sales platform to promote the Tauranga Zine Fest brand. So we started developing that. Through that and the networking and the things that we heard, the people that we worked with, like the incubator Tauranga Art Gallery, we went on to collaborate with them and produced more product for those particular people. We initially tested these products at the BopPoly markets, which were really successful, and we also did a bit of a marketing campaign for the Tauranga Zine Fest and the workshops to get more people and promote them on the day at the same time. Our point of difference is that we are creative industry students, and we have all of the different majors that bring different skills and relationships and things to the table. All our designs are hand printed and specifically designed for the purpose for which they're intended. We design, source and supply all the product on behalf of the client, and we're pretty social network savvy, so getting our name out there according to the Facebook analytics, the likes and shares of our video recordings of our process and a handmade aspect. We had the most views on Facebook and Instagram, and we ended up with over 200 likes on our page of our project. Yeah.
So our customer really varied depending on who we were selling to and where we were selling. So for some projects we were selling directly to the customer, but for other projects we were selling wholesale and then they were selling on to the end user. At Polytech we sold directly to the customer through the Polytech markets, and these were really successful for us. We initially thought that our demographic would be young art students, so you guys, but the market sort of proved that our best customers were actually tutors, who were more likely to have disposable income. So from this we introduced discounted packs to try and target students, and this worked really well. Yeah, so another avenue was the Zine Fest, Tauranga Zine Fest. So that was really successful for us, and our main customer there was the attendees of the festival, the stall holders, and also just gallery visitors. The Zine Fest was held at the Tauranga Art Gallery, and from that we actually got a wholesale order from the gallery for some of our notebooks for their gallery shop. Yeah, so after seeing the products at the Zine Fest, the Garden and Art Festival approached us to produce some product for their festival coming up. So in that case, our customer is purely the Garden and Art Festival, and they will then on sale to the end user, which we are assuming is 45 plus women, we're assuming. Yeah, and then some product changes that we made was from the sales of the Zine Fest, we realised that the most popular products were ones like with characters, so the cactus or the unicorn. So we sort of did a whole range with Lyndon's book, which were all characters, and they sold incredibly well. So we realised that the best way that we made money was through selling wholesale, because it was quick, there were large orders, and it didn't require our time or effort to sell the product ourselves. We just made it, gave it to them, and they did the selling. And it also developed future business relationships for us as well. So next slide. So our marketing campaigns. So our main avenue of advertising was through Facebook, because it's free and it's instant. We didn't actually make any sales through Facebook, but we just used it to raise awareness of what we were doing, any new products we were creating, and just to create a real online presence. So from this, we actually received another wholesale customer, which was a shop in Wellington called Ruby and Murphy, and they saw our product online and emailed us through Facebook to order some notebooks to sell in their shop. So word of mouth was another really good way that we marketed, just through the conversations we had, created sales and also future business opportunities. Through our connections at Polytech, the Tauranga Art Gallery, Escape Festival and the Incubator, we were able to sort of piggyback off their social marketing database. So meaning that whenever we posted something on Facebook, we would tag them, and vice versa. So it just meant that we had a much broader reach on our social media. So through our Polytech connections, they actually purchased all of the Zine Fest product that was left over. So that was a really great connection. And also the Polytech presented us with the possibility to work with them on future projects. So possibly doing like corporate gifts for the Polytech. So that was another great marketing campaign connection that we had.
Cool. So in terms of sales, our order with the Garden and Art Festival was our order that made the most revenue. So we did 60 screen printed tea towels for them. So with sales, we just made sure that we established connections and relationships with people, always spreading the word of our business, through word of mouth, and just making sure that we establish good relationships with people. So in terms of sales, we noticed that the tote bags with specific branding didn't sell as well. So when we did the Zine Fest, we made bags that said Tauranga Zine Fest, and we had remaining stock from that because we couldn't sell them afterwards. We also noticed that people preferred the character imagery instead of the objects, which Leah said before. And we also noticed that when we had our EPOS machine, it worked really well. So we did make a few more sales when we had that. So key resources and collaborations. Our marketing avenues were through Facebook, social media, personal networks and connections. So when we're at markets and events, always telling people about what we do and just pushing our brand. So yeah, we use the marketing to create collaborations with people. So what didn't work for us is we got given a brief by the Good Room, and we actually had to turn them down with the brief because it didn't really fit our mission statement, and we had lots of other stuff going on, so just kind of was a good lesson because it taught us to be clear in what we can do, and it made us realise what we're capable of. So I think in the future it'll be good for us to create a brochure which lists our services and what we can do so people know exactly what we're capable of. And we created personal networks with Loveness, Badge King, friends and colleagues, etc. Financial statements. So all up we sold 100 notebooks, 65 tote bags, 60 tea towels, 30 zine packs and 300 badges. And our products range from $3 to $15. At the last Bay of Plenty Polytech markets, we reduced our tote bags from $15 to $8 just to get rid of a few extra ones. And we noticed that our combo deals sold a lot better than the tote bags on their own. So that was a good sort of marketing idea. And to increase our profits, we need to look at higher minimum order quantities and include artwork and set up costs for the future.
So some of the project challenges that we had come across, the main one, which is probably what most people come across, is communication. We when we're working with Garden and Art Fest, they have to work themselves with a committee. So that makes it quite difficult when you're working with a group of people and they don't even know what decisions they're making, let alone tell us. So it was a little bit of a waiting game, but we did work through it. It's just us mainly pushing to get answers. Another thing we came across was intellectual property. So in the Tauranga Zine Fest, there were particular designs that we were going to be using to make money off, and we had to meet with the Zine Fest and write up a resolution of agreement to be able to use their designs and in what capacity and how long for. Another little hiccup we came up, which sounds like we're coming up with lots, but they weren't really a problem because we managed to work through them, was buying product to screen print. So some of it turned up and it wasn't what it said on the packet. So it turned up, it was of poor quality or differing sizes. So we realised it's really important to read the online reviews or get samples first. Obviously the usual, the time restrictions, the deadlines that everyone comes across, always clashing with work and other priorities with schoolwork, but we had some pretty robust timelines that we adhered to, and always managed to get our high quality product out on time. Wet weather is also another not ideal thing sometimes for when you've got a product that you want it to be this sort of bright and shiny and get it out there to the people when they're enclosed in a room. If we had another 6 months, we would look at packaging, defining specifically what we offer to the client, more a wholesale client situation, and our prices, probably our price to value concepts need to be a little bit more refined. Time and money, always a thing. Force make quick decisions. If we had more time, we could look at setting some rules in place for our clients. Sort of with decisions made within a time frame was our biggest hurdle, but we got there.
So in the real world, in order to make it work, the merchants will need to look for investors to fund us. We would also need to outsource screen printing, just because the large quantities way too time consuming. It just isn't financially viable. So meaning we'd have to find a screen printer, we'd have to find suppliers for them to do it for us. We would also need to look at approaching larger companies or events so that we would get larger orders. So this could look like merchandising for festivals, shows, community events, corporate gifts, or businesses who are rebranding. Excuse me. Yeah, and also another thing is we just need to make it really clear to potential customers what we offer, and just have set prices so they can just look at it and know exactly what they can get from us. And also we then need to make a bigger profit margin for hand screen bridges products. So in the merchant's current state, we wouldn't be able to, all 4 of us wouldn't be able to survive off the profits. If there was only 2 workers, it could work, but then you limit the creative input. So overall, we think that done right, the concept of the merchants could work in the real world, but like I said, it would require us to find investors to initially fund us, and we'd also need to look at the right kind of clients, like the larger organisations or larger events. Yes, so that is our presentation.
Keep going.